Imagine stepping outside and looking up. To see a flock of birds so massive, it literally blocks out the sun. I mean, plunging the whole landscape into twilight for days.
Yeah, it sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel.
Right. But that was the actual reality of the North American sky just a century and a half ago. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at a university syllabus on extinct birds that, well, on the surface, might sound like a highly specific history seminar.
It definitely reads that way at first glance.
Yeah, but okay, let's unpack this, because what we actually have here is a masterclass in how to explore a subject. It shows exactly why you would want to take a course like this. I mean, it takes a historical tragedy and uses it to connect ecology, monumental art, and cutting-edge genetics.
Absolutely. The sheer scale of what this course covers is the perfect entry point, really. The foundational text is Christopher Kokinos' book, Hope is the Thing with Feathers.
Such a beautiful title, borrowed from Emily Dickinson, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And it chronicles the loss of 6 once abundant species. And, abundant barely even captures it. Like, the syllabus introduces an 1800s account from naturalist Alexander Wilson.
Okay, what did he see?
Well, he observed a flock of passenger pigeons flying between Kentucky and Indiana, and he estimated the flock contained over 2.2 billion birds.
Over 2 billion. In a single flock. That is, I mean, how do you even wrap your head around that?
It's wild. A flock 240 miles long and a mile wide. He noted there were like 3 pigeons occupying every cubic yard of sky.
That is essentially a massive, moving, 240-mile-long city in the clouds.
Yeah.
But it raises a huge question. I mean, how does a biological force that vast just vanish? It wasn't just, farmers with muskets taking them down one by one.
No, not at all. It was complete systemic collapse. You see, the passenger pigeon relied on its massive numbers for survival. They used sheer density to overwhelm predators.
Right, safety in numbers.
Exactly. But once Europeans expanded across the continent with telegraphs and railroads, commercial hunters could track their nesting colonies in real time.
Oh, wow. So it was industrial-scale slaughter.
Yeah, they slaughtered them on a massive scale while simultaneously clear-cutting the forests they relied on. We essentially broke their biological infrastructure.
So you are left with this massive ecological hole. How do you even begin to study an absence that large? Like, if I'm taking this course, am I just looking at old bones for 6 weeks?
Well, no, and that's where the curriculum brilliantly pivots from raw data to human memory. Science alone struggles to map that kind of void.
Right.
So the course brings in art and mystery. Students explore the ivory-billed woodpecker, which still sparks these massive, hopeful rediscovery hunts, like the big one in 2009.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and they also studied the Lost Bird Project by sculptor Todd McGrain. He creates these monumental bronze statues of extinct birds.
And he places them permanently at the exact locations where the last of their kind were seen in the wild, right?
Yes, exactly.
It makes the absence physical. You're standing in the actual habitat looking at a heavy, dark monument to what used to live there.
It's incredibly powerful.
And what makes this syllabus so compelling is the access it promises.
Yeah.
You aren't just reading about these projects. The course connects you directly with the minds behind them.
Right, author Chris Kokinos himself visits the class via Zoom.
Which is so rare for a class.
Yeah.
But a statue is still just a memorial. I look at this and wonder, is this just a morbid memorial tour? Is remembering enough, or is anyone actually trying to fix it?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the desire to fix it is exactly where the course heads next.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
It really does. The class brings in Ben Novak from Revive and Restore. They are a group working on de-extinction.
Wait, de-extinction, like Jurassic Park?
Sort of. They are actively trying to use modern biotechnology to bring the passenger pigeon and the heath hen back to life.
Wait, I need to push back on this. How does that work mechanically?
Yeah.
You can't just synthesize a passenger pigeon egg out of thin air. You don't have a living mother to incubate it.
Well, you don't start from scratch. You start with the closest living relative, which in this case is the band-tailed pigeon.
Okay.
Scientists sequence the band-tailed pigeon's genome, and then they compare it to DNA extracted from preserved passenger pigeon specimens.
Ah, so they find the differences.
Exactly. Once they identify the specific genes that made the passenger pigeon unique things, like its long tail or its flocking behavior, they use CRISPR gene editing technology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they splice those extinct traits into the living pigeon's reproductive cells.
I see. It's like taking a modern software program and rewriting specific lines of code using an old, corrupted backup file just to get the legacy features working again.
That is a perfect way to put it. And what's really fascinating here is that this genetic engineering isn't just an abstract concept for the class. The course ties it to a deeply personal legacy. The instructor teaching this seminar is actually the grandchild of Alfred Otto Gross.
Wait, who is that?
He was a researcher who spent years doing desperate boots-on-the-ground fieldwork a century ago, trying to save the last heath hens on Martha's Vineyard.
Wait, really? The professor's own grandfather?
Yes. So you have this century-long arc of conservation.
That is incredible. A grandfather watched a species slip away, and now his grandchild is exploring how modern science might just bring it back. It's a perfect example of why diving deep into a syllabus like this is so worth it.
It forces you to look at conservation not just as preserving what we have, but potentially resurrecting what we destroyed.
It really is a rare blend of unimaginable history, artistic tribute, direct access to experts, and, controversial biotech, all anchored by a professor with actual skin in the game.
It's everything you could want in a seminar.
It is.
Yeah.
But it does leave you with one incredibly practical question to chew on. Let's say this CRISPR technology actually works. If we successfully reconstruct the passenger pigeon, how on earth is our modern world, with its skyscrapers, commercial jet paths, and thousands of miles of power lines, supposed to handle the sudden return of a 240-mile-long flock of birds that hasn't existed for over a century? Imagine stepping outside and looking up.